notice to provide his attorney, Mr. Size, a list of questions and certain documents. The attorney, Gerald Helfrich, who represents the insurance company, came in and met with us, and he asked the questions that this fellow wanted to ask, and we also provided him making copies of all the documents that needed. The next step, each board member will receive the same thing. This was for the housing authority, for the background, when he was hired, how he was hired, his personal records, and the whole thing. So that's basically where we are with this one here. And that was in there. See the last thing I got here. One more thing here. Okay, the daycare center, that was an issue also that Mr. Marotta was handling. About 30 years ago, the housing authority owned a property on 47th Street where the daycare center is located. The CDA received funding to make a new construction. The land was donated to the city for the purpose. However, it was not handled properly. No transfers were ever made, no was it applied to HUD for this position of this property. So now we have to start this whole process again. Back in July of 2011, Mr. Marotta contacted HUD. They sent him all the proper forms and applications. Apparently it was never done. So I also said to request this information so we could start the process. Basically, the board will have to approve this once it's all completed, sends it to HUD, HUD will review it, and then they either approve it or not. So basically, it's not a long process, it's very cumbersome. You got to get people to inspect the site, make sure it's the proper, lots, etc. The standard routine of transferring properties. So that's where I'm with that. Okay. Yesterday we received a letter from HUD, actually an email, regarding the sequestration cuts. And regarding the sequestration process, and HUD is informing us that as of March, tomorrow, we'll be having a proration level of 81% now for 92%, and this is due to the the current situation that they have there. I don't foresee this really going for a long time. I think at some point in time they will have to, come to an agreement on this. They can't just do that. Mr. Gonzalez, I know your department of Welfare, Health and Human Services, are you getting this letter from the government too? And what kind of cuts are you guys getting?
Well, our cuts is mostly in Head Start.
Head Start.
The human service side.
Okay. Well, this is for the operation, the subsidies here, so I'll keep everyone abreast as to what is happening. And the last thing I have here, I've got a request from the Francisco Nunez Foundation requesting the use of the Senior Citizens Community Room because he wants to, that's on the last page on that. He wants to distribute household items, pillowcases, etc. It's out there. So he's requesting permission to use the facility to provide that to the seniors. And that's the conclusion of my report.
Just, if I can follow up on your report, I think it'd be the report of council.
Yes.
You have listed
Wait,
there.
let's see about the thing with the,
I'm sorry.
no, it's okay.
Okay.
With that request for the facility, you want to table that, you want to?
Yeah, you'd have to table that, put that up for a vote, and just have legal research it if it's proper to use. Insurance, liability issues.
Want to
So
talk to
far,
me
so
later
on.
about this, when I have to research, or?
Yeah,
do
we
it
could
now?
do it, yeah, no, we could do it now.
Okay, what is it?
Okay, if you see on my, the director's, the last page, go to the last page. I want to go on the record,
This?
because we have the little microphone. Yes. You read it, and then they're requesting the use of the facility.
And it's open dated. I don't see a date on it.
No, I guess it's just requesting
February 20.
permission to do it whenever, then he'll come up with a date.
of where they're going to
Oh.
do this.
Or would at the least have to be narrowed down.
Yeah.
As Dennis stated, Mr. Gonzalez just stated.
It's basically use of our facilities by a third party.
Right, correct.
And And you've never done this before?
Not with this.
No,
No, it's never been done here.
no, no.
That'd be-
Now, why do they mention the Civic Association? Is that true?
Yeah, that's been used there. For, you know, the turkeys and things like that, so I don't know whether that would be part of that or that's just part of the city or whatever.
I think they mention that because to say that you have a precedent, or it has been done in the past, that's maybe why they're using that. This is that down.
No,
I-
that's the senior
Oh,
building,
sorry.
across from
I
city.
know the community room at the senior has been used for government functions,
Right,
commissioners meetings, information meetings for the building, and not any kind
And then
of
it's
civic
not
functions that I
never-
recall. This board has never authorized any, from what I remember. But you have any difference in recollection, Mr.?
As far I know, it's been
No.
used. I don't, you know. I know they do the turkey things and the parties. I don't know whether it's part of the city or what, you know.
Senior parties are done by the city.
But it's okay. So,
So the information here is
That's incorrect.
incorrect.
Which information is incorrect?
The room is.
the civic association.
No.
It's the city that
No.
uses that.
So that is incorrect, factually incorrect?
That's
Yeah.
what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
Yes?
yes.
There are parties held for the senior
Let's
citizens.
say you
By
birthday
the city.
party.
Oh, by the
party.
city. Okay, maybe that's
Correct.
what. Okay,
Oh, maybe they think,
could be. Yeah.
Right,
As it's written here, it's factually incorrect.
correct.
All right, let me,
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't have anything else. Anyone wants to have something? No. Okay. Anyone in the public?
did you want me to?
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, time out. I forgot. Yeah, you want to report anything?
Nothing earth shattering, but just, I think there's some paperwork attached to the executive director's report concerning some matters that I'm involved in. First and foremost, the Union City daycare property. There's been some communication between myself, and Christine Bannock, the town attorney for Union City, concerning a transfer of property over at the Union City daycare facility on 47th Street. Apparently, I think we might have discussed this last time, this is an issue that was approved some 25 plus years ago, but I'm told they never followed through on recording the deed, which would have consummated the deal. You know, obviously, you know, you're transferring property, you prepare a deed, you record it.
Or getting house approval.
Right
That
now,
application.
right. But now, in speaking to Ms. Vanek, she provided me with some documentation from my predecessor, Mr. Murata, and it appears that he had initiated some contact with HUD that we've now reconnected. To put it succinctly, any transfer of property that's owned by the HUD, you know, we need HUD approval. So once we get that squared away, then eventually we'll have a formal need for a vote on it, you know, with greater explanation, but just so you're not caught off guard. The Union City camera ordinance, Mr. Cabello has spoken about that. The grand jury subpoena issue concerning Thomas Coben. I had a conversation with Mr. Coben a couple of weeks ago, and he did confirm that he did appear before the grand jury. Because of the nature of a grand jury proceeding, he was not authorized to discuss with me what transpired. I spoke to him February 13th. I'm looking at my notes. And again, he wanted to know if the board would reconsider its prior decision not to pay for him or his firm's legal fees in connection with his having to appear at the grand jury proceedings. I told him that I would communicate this to the board to see if the board wishes to reconsider it, but at the last meeting you did reject the proposal.
Based on your advice.
Right. Well, based on my advice, and I think some other considerations that you all took independent of me. But, you know, he just wanted me to communicate that to the board. So, I mean, if you wish to do nothing about it, you do nothing about it. If you wish to reconsider it, you know, it's up to the board. And then lastly, the recent filing of the litigation, North Hudson, North Hudson Sewerage Authority. I think other than that, you know, our monthly, what's that? Yeah, our monthly evictions, I mean, I've been here 2 months and they seem to be moving along. You know, we get a big list, and by the time we file a complaint, it becomes very small. By the time I go to court, it becomes even smaller, and eventually they're almost all paid up to date. So that's all I have to report. Any consideration on the subpoena, just so I know what to do with the file, put it away, or?
We're gonna take that up for further discussion.
Want to do that?
Next meeting, yeah.
All right, so want to put it on the agenda again?
Maybe you could pose that question also, because last meeting you gave us legal advice saying that you thought it was improper. And I know Mr. Gonzalez had reservations also, so maybe you could clear that up legally, if it's allowed.
Would you like a legal, formal legal opinion, is that what you're saying?
That would be,
Okay.
Put it on the agenda too.
I have a lot of legal research to do.
So we have
so you're saying it's okay to do it now, the last meeting?
I'm not saying it's okay to do it at all. No, you're misunderstanding me. At the last meeting, I simply reported, you know, and the attorney had even prepared a resolution, a contract, and we had a discussion here regarding it, and the question was asked of me, and what I said is, he was served with the subpoena, not our governing body. He was served with a subpoena himself individually. So the discussion was, I didn't see that
Right.
necessary to have to pay for those services.
And the minutes reflect, you also said that he was hired by the board, and that should have included.
I'm sorry?
And let's go to the minutes, actually.
So you want to revisit the minutes now?
I just want to, just to
Okay.
show you, some of the issues we might have.
Well, just as a point of order, discussing the minutes is in conjunction now with the subpoena?
No,
No, I
just
just
so
want to-
what you commented on it.
Okay.
Mr. Moore-Holm thought it was not appropriate to pay for the above mentioned services. And Mr. Cabello said that we already paid him. Mr. Moore-Holm also said that if the resolution is adopted, we are hiring Mr. Coben as our attorney, and we already have him, Mr. Moore-Holm, as our attorney. That's
on page 2.
Yes, sir. So that's just why I have concerns, not so I need you to clear it up legally.
I'm sorry, Mr. Moretti, what do you want me to clear up legally? I'm
Well,
lost.
you said it was improper for us to vote on that last meeting.
I didn't say it was improper. I said that,
You said we vote-
not improper to vote on it, that his request.
Well, you said not appropriate according to
I-
these minutes.
I said that the request was not appropriate, not the vote. I mean, obviously you took a vote and you rejected a proposed resolution. And I'm not changing my opinion on that. I'm simply reporting that I spoke to the gentleman on February 13th, and he said that yes, he did appear before the grand jury. He could not discuss what transpired because it's prohibited.
Correct, we understand that.
Okay, and he's asked if the
I
board
just
would
want to make sure
reconsider
that
that.
that we're okay now, because we're getting two different opinions. The last meeting, according to these minutes, says Mr. Moore-Holm also stated that if the resolution is adopted, we are hiring Mr. Coben as our attorney, and we already have him, Mr. Moore-Holm, representing us. So now,
So I'm not giving you
I
a
just-
second opinion, sir.
well, okay, but you're putting something forward to the board that last meeting you said was not appropriate.
I'm
So I
simply.
just want to make sure the board's
Okay.
covered legally, and that we are doing something that is appropriate.
All right.
So if you
My
can research that
I
and put that in writing to us.
I don't have any problem, but
then
I
we
just,
can
I
move
just
forward on
want,
that
I
issue.
just, okay, I just want the record to reflect that I'm not changing my opinion from the last meeting. I simply was communicating to the board a conversation that I had with the gentleman and his request of this board. And then I said, if you wish to reconsider, you could. You didn't have to. My opinion stands. However, if,
So
what would you
you're
like me
saying
to
it's not
research?
appropriate? Your
My opinion
stands.
stands from the last meeting, so that's
So
correct.
is it appropriate or is it not appropriate? So if it's not appropriate and you're recommending the board, or even bringing it up for reconsideration, you're bringing something that's not appropriate to
Sir,
this
that's,
board who
Mr.
you're supposed to
Mornetti,
represent.
that's not what I'm saying.
Okay,
If
so-
that was, if I may,
That's not what I'm saying.
Mr. Chairman, the council provided his opinion. We, we didn't act just on his opinion alone. There was, and the minutes reflect that there was a discussion about this matter.
Well, his opinion holds a lot of weight. He
But-
is the attorney.
But I think that.
But I think this board can act independently of that.
And I think that's reflected in the minutes. And I know my vote wasn't based just on his opinion. It was based on the fact that, basically he's double dipping. We paid him to do a job for us, which he didn't do well. And then now he has to appear before a grand jury because of that service that he provided us. And now he wants us to pay for him to go to the grand jury when we already paid him to do the job in the first place that he didn't do well. But I understand where you're coming from, and I don't have a problem with your request of the council to look further into this. But for the record, I didn't vote on this just based on the council's
Right,
opinion.
but I did. The council, if council's here telling you something is not appropriate, then you would be out of your mind to vote for it. Why would you go against council's legal advice? I did, his input weighed very heavily on my vote. Well, actually,
And
I
I
abstained.
appreciate that, but-
I abstained on the discussion.
No, I just wanted to make sure that, in the interest of transparency, to be honest with you, in the interest of transparency, which is to report to the board, you're my client, a communication had with this individual was all that I was doing. I was not asking for this board to reconsider. I was not vacillating from my original decision. It stands. However, if, Mr. Chairman, if you'd like me to give you a formal written opinion to that effect, you tell me. What would you like
I
me to do?
personally don't have a problem paying for an individual for his services. If the services are outside of the scope of his original contract, and it's within legal boundaries in accordance with your opinion, then I don't have a problem paying individuals. But the problem I have now is last meeting, you directed the board that it was inappropriate. And now you bring this up for reconsideration.
I'm not bringing it up for reconsideration, Mr.
It is
Mariani.
inappropriate or it's not inappropriate.
I just told you, my
Clarification
opinion
on
from the
that.
last meeting stands. Why don't you understand
Right,
that?
so your opinion is this is not
Yes,
appropriate
that's
for
my
the board to
opinion. I
vote
just
on
said
it.
my opinion has not
Okay,
changed.
That's fine.
I'm simply communicating to you a request. I was acting as a
I
message.
just want to get it clear, Mr. Mulholland.
It's-
This is not an argument. I just
No,
want
I'm
to
not
get it
having an
clear.
argument.
I'm personally
I'm getting
confused.
frustrated because you're taking
no,
my
I'm personally
words and
confused.
and
One at a time,
misunderstanding them.
please.
Yes, sorry. I'm just confused because I just want to make sure either it is or it isn't.
Well, let me
Is it-
enli- let me
is it-
enlighten-
Is it appropriate for
Let
the
me
board to
enlighten,
pay this
let me
individual?
enlighten you and the board. My opinion stands from the last meeting.
Which you stated was not appropriate.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
And I was simply communicating to the board a conversation had with the attorney.
Okay, thank you.
That's all I have to report from,
So would he have to do any legal opinion anymore other than that, Mr. Chairman?
If his opinion is not appropriate, if his opinion is that it's not appropriate for the board to consider that, then the board should not consider it. They should not go against our attorney's opinion. He's the professional.
I mean, the minutes speak for themselves that haven't been approved, but that's.
But
what
that
it is.
conversation I recall.
Okay. All right, my question is, so we could have it for the next meeting or not, would he have to do any legal written recommendations to the board, or it stands as it is as the
I would
minute?
not want to waste the authority's money having him, counsel research anything that he feels is inappropriate in the first place.
Thank you. That's what I needed to know, so we don't include it again. Thank you. All right. Anyone else before we open it to the public? Okay.
Yeah.
Who wants to?
Manuel Del Valle, 345th Street, Union City, New Jersey.
You need
Can
to
hear
step
me from
forward
there?
the microphone.
The microphone is over.
by the chairperson would be perfect. Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
You got my information?
I do.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I would like to ask the board and the chairman, when was the last time that they had a 5-minute rule in these meetings here in the Housing Authority?
I don't think we've had one during my tenure.
No.
We haven't.
We never had any.
2 years, 3 years?
Well, many years.
Many
About
years.
8.
Yeah, we never had it, no.
9 years, maybe 10.
So, and you're stating that the reason that you want to have these 5 minutes is because you got a lot of people that are asking questions?
No, that's not the reason.
I heard you say
The
that.
reason
and that,
is-
you know,
You
people.
have
One
to-
at a time,
you have
please.
to
Is to
each
conduct-
complete your statement.
The reason is to conduct a proper meeting, and to give everybody an opportunity to voice their opinion in a civil manner.
In other words, when you have people like us that come over here because we're residents of the city, okay, this is a public meeting, we want to ask questions to see what's going on here in the Housing Authority. That's wrong. You want to cut it down to 5 minutes because you have people that want to find out. Want to find out what's going on with the Housing Authority, you know, and anything that might not be transparent. Like I said before when I interrupted, this is a federal agency. It's not a municipal agency. They try to do that in the city, and I have to bring that up in reference to the video. And actually, they save money by not going into legal fees because they try to stop the videotaping. They wanted to be informed about videotaping. They wanted to be informed about everything.
I'm not
Because I
familiar,
guess-
so can we keep the discussion of housing authority
I'm
business?
bringing it to that.
And not
I'm bringing it to
municipal?
that because then you might want to come out next month and say that you don't want videotaping.
No, that's not what I stated, Mr. Navarro. It was just it was the 5-minute rule.
Okay? The
5-minute
5
comment.
minute, which I think is very illegal because we're here, we're not here to try to hurt anybody on this board. Okay, we're here to question people on this board because we don't get answers from them.
Well, Mr.
You know,
Navarro,
we've been waiting
if
for
you feel-
answers from this board a long, long time. I mean, we've been asked questions last meeting, which is now no good. The minutes aren't going to be approved. We've asked questions last meeting that we still have no answers for.
If you feel the 5-minute rule is illegal, then you should start.
Oh, it's not a
Maybe
question.
you should go to every town, start in North Bergen, and work your way around the state of New Jersey.
No, I don't have to go to every town. I'm
And
worried about
every-
Union City. I don't care what North
Correct.
Bergen does.
And you, like,
Freehold
I'm
does
saying go
whatever.
to every town in New
Okay.
Jersey who has a 5-minute rule implemented,
Right.
and you could voice your opinion.
Every government
if it is illegal,
agency,
council
every
will advise.
municipal agency.
Excuse me.
So, if
Okay.
it is, Mr. Nycrom,
All right, I just
Mr. Val, I'm
want,
trying
if it
to
is
make a
illegal,
record.
council will advise us on that, and that matters up for this discussion based on his research.
Now,
That's what we say.
Correct.
Mr. Attorney, will you be able to give us what information that you have, or we're going to have to open this, or the next meeting, are we going to have a copy of what you found out, if it's legal or not legal?
Mr. Del Valle, I've been asked to research the question.
Yes.
I will respond to the board, and it'll be on the agenda at next meeting so that it'll be available to individuals as yourself. So you will not have to Oprah another request.
And I'd like to question something in reference to, I understand that they were trying to rent a place at the Recreation Center or at the 37th Street, the Civic Association, the Francisco Nunez Civic Association. I mean, they are a 501c3, they're a nonprofit organization.
I have the letter here.
They've asked, requested to do that, but I mean, I kind of feel that, and I mean, I don't want to seem like I'm
It was
saying
not a
something
rental. They were
disrespectful.
not asking to rent it. They were asking to be provided to them for whatever
Right,
services.
to
But
provide
it's not a
food, because They
rental.
want to do and issue out some pillows, what I understand, or blankets or whatever. They want to do something for the community.
But it was not a rental. You said, they wanted
No,
to
no, I
rent the
understand. They
place.
wanted
It's
to
not
borrow.
rent. Okay.
Okay. But my problem is that it's the wrong civic association. It's not the Brian Stack Civic Association. That's why maybe you're questioning that fact.
No, we are not questioning that fact.
Because the Brian Stack Civic Association, they use any building they want.
To my knowledge, no association or outside agency has ever used any housing authority facilities
for nothing.
besides the city, senior citizens department, and holding functions and parties for the seniors.
Okay.
And no outside agencies to the best of my
No other,
knowledge.
no other Brian Stack Civic Association has used it
I have never seen a request for any association to use any kind of housing authority facility.
and has never used one of these buildings, one of those buildings.
Not to my knowledge.
Whether they ask for permission or not ask for permission. They have never used it.
Not to my knowledge, and The executive director also stated he wasn't familiar with any kind of,
No. Activities have been conducted here, but as the chairman has stated, it's done either through the senior citizens department or the city.
they hold functions for the senior citizens. City provides services to the senior citizens.
And that's a city, the
Correct.
city does it,
That's
not the
correct.
civic association.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Oh, the lady.
Hi.
Step down.
Hi. My name is Beatrice Ortiz. I live in Union City for like 20 years. I live in 713 A Street. I come today because I've been calling to find out about my application. And my question is, how long you gotta wait for getting an apartment in housing? That's my question.
What is your name again, please?
Beatrice Ortiz.
What is the waiting list that we have right now?
Like-
Turnaround time.
10, 12 years.
Okay, my application, I do it in 2000. And they told me I'm in the 17th waiting since June 9.
It's funny, like, they apply all different reasons why they give you a number. We have a program from, it's called 10 Mast, and that tells you, have you called? You called and asked what your number was?
Yes, I came and I talked to somebody named Lily. And also, I asking why I still in the 17th in June. And I asking, I like to talk to the director, and she said, I said I wanted to speak to the secretary. She said he don't have no secretary. That's why I'm here today, because that surprised me. I work for the city also, and I understand somebody got to have a secretary to take the message.
Do I have your telephone number? I'll call you back tomorrow and let you know.
Well, I leave my phone when I call, and she told me that she's gonna tell the director to call me. So
Okay.
that's a month to go, and I'm still waiting, you know.
Okay, could you give your number one more time?
Yes,
Just,
my
just don't say,
Don't
why
say
don't
the
you just
number.
give it to her because it's
Yes.
being videotaped?
Yes.
Okay, okay. The thing is, you know, I'm one of the
And when you
residents
get
here.
phone calls from different people.
Okay, you know, and I believe,
I like that.
I don't think nobody.
Yeah,
knows.
yeah.
Okay, so thank you. That's why I really came to us, you know.
They're doing the radio calling shows, man.
Yeah, like the radio.
That's funny.
You're right.
Well, you know, when I used to work court, that was the other thing too, they would take the addresses.
Okay. You know, somebody when you told me they don't have no secretary, so I gotta come over there because something wrong.
Yeah, thank you though.
Okay.
So I come out here so I could pass it around to the members?
Okay, with that, ma'am? Thank you. Okay, next.
Hi, Frank Alonso, 126 19th Street, Union City. Mr. Chairman, may I ask Mr. Attorney a question, or do you want me to go through you? Okay. So I'd like to know if the minutes for December and January have not been approved, all the resolutions, all the bills paid, everything that took, all the business conducted on those meetings, do they still stand because those minutes have not been approved?
That's what he's, Mr. Attorney.
Okay, just to recap, the minutes of the December 11th meeting, there was a motion proposed by Mr. Gonzalez, and 3 members opposed it and 2 supported it.
Okay.
The January meeting minutes have been tabled, meaning that
Yes.
there's no vote happening.
Correct.
Now, the question becomes, which I'm going to do some research on, what is the effect of not approving minutes? Okay. Does it invalidate everything that transpired? I conservatively, I believe it's, and again, it's been my understanding that if you, when you're presented with minutes, you review them and you discuss what you believe is correct, what's not correct, and you have a discussion on it. That's why minutes are reviewed, and then you come to a consensus. Hopefully that's what will happen, because you just can't, you can't just reject minutes outright because we had a meeting. I mean, something happened.
Correct.
It's just a matter of, does
I
the board
hate
come
that.
in agreement with what the minutes reflect? Do the minutes accurately reflect what transpired at the
Right,
meeting?
if you could put that specific question.
Because I'm sure that
Your
there's,
correspondence to HUD, but also the resolutions that were voted on have been signed.
Right,
By the
so,
board,
but we're
so I
not
would
approved,
say
we haven't
you're
approved the
invalidating.
meeting.
Right.
So my question's gonna be now, Mr. Attorney, and I know the board gave you lots of research, but I'm gonna give you some more research, because tomorrow I'm gonna file a complaint with the Department of Consumer Affairs that certify each of these members to vote on this board. I'm gonna file a complaint that minutes haven't been approved, therefore, everything approved in those minutes needs to be invalidated. Because I'll file that motion tomorrow
Well,
with
that's-
Consumer Affairs.
you have every right to do that. I mean,
So I'm gonna give you a little more work, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I asked several questions last meeting that weren't answered, and I hope they're going to be answered today. I'd like to address Commissioner Gutierrez, a member of this board, or a commissioner on this board, with some questions.
You could address the questions.
Okay, so Commissioner Gutierrez, last meeting, when asked about your decision to recommend Mr. Murata as part of the selection committee of Mr. Murata's legal counsel, she stated, "I did what I had to do." Is that correct?
Mr. Alonso, this matter is in litigation. It should not be
Mr.
commented
Murata
on.
is not in litigation.
The whole matter of Mr. Murata's
I
hiring,
disagree with
excuse
you.
me, the matter of Mr. Murata's hiring is in litigation, also under investigation, so I
But it's not-
recommend, and I'm sure the attorney would agree, that this should not be commented on.
It's not in litigation, it's under
Um,
investigation, but not in litigation.
There's both.
You know, I don't know what's under investigation. You know, I don't know what's under litigation, to be honest with
I
you,
have no
but
idea.
if, you know,
I have a question from Commissioner Gutierrez.
If
Okay,
she
maybe
feels
we should
comfortable voting
we should
or
give
not,
the
you know.
attorney time to refresh himself and bring himself up to speed. What is in litigation with this authority?
I
And then he
honestly,
could guide Ms. Gutierrez.
so that should have been taken care of last month, Mr. Chairman, because I asked the same questions last month and you gave me the same answer. Therefore,
This matter is under litigation.
it's not under
and
litigation, it's under investigation, that's what
And
Mr.
it's
Coburn
not
went
gonna
to a
be-
grand
It's
jury.
not going to be commented on.
What are we hiding?
We're not
Do you have
hiding.
something to hide, Mr. Chairman? Do you personally have something to hide that you don't want Commissioner Gutierrez to answer and do her job? Again, I don't want to have to continue filing a motion with Consumer Affairs tomorrow that each commissioner on this board who's certified to be on this board, refuses to answer questions on voting that they have done. It's illegal.
It would be inappropriate for anyone to comment on
It's
any matter
illegal.
under litigation.
It's not under litigation, it's
And-
under
Or under
investigation.
investigation would be inappropriate.
You're incorrect.
Is it-
Mr. Attorney, can
Mr.
you
President,
elaborate?
would it be inappropriate?
If the chairman, you know,
Mr.
that's his
Attorney,
opinion, I'm
what's-
not.
In your
Well,
legal, in your legal opinion,
Marnetti.
would it be inappropriate for anyone to comment on a matter that's in litigation or under investigation?
If that would be the case, I would advise my client not to respond. That's why I said to
Thank you
you.
very much. That's your answer,
Mr.
Mr.
Marnetti.
Alonso.
But he hasn't
Mr.
advised you not
Marnetti.
to respond, Mr.
That's the answer,
Marnetti.
Mr. Alonso.
That's not the answer,
Mr.
Mr.
Marnetti,
Marnetti.
I did say at the beginning, however, I don't know
Correct.
what is part, but your question to me,
Okay.
normally, yes, that would be my advice
Okay,
to my.
so we're gonna take his advice.
So, Mr. Chairman, can you answer through the attorney? Is this matter currently in litigation? Do we have documentation stating that the hiring of Mr. Murata is in litigation?
You'd have to put your request in writing.
I have put that request in writing and nothing has come back,
And
Mr.
our
Chairman.
counsel will address it appropriately.
Nothing's come back. All I ask, counsel, is I want to ask Commissioner Gutierrez questions on the hiring of Mr. Murata, which is not in
I
litigation.
understand. Mr. Alonso, we can't force her to answer if the chairman has given
Okay.
you the response that he's
So,
given you.
so this board, I will let this board know that Mr. Coben, a member of that committee that hired Mr. Murata, has been investigated by a grand jury, and I'm sure he's told the truth. And tomorrow, when I call Consumer Affairs, which certifies each and every one of you, I will provide all those documents to Consumer Affairs, and I will stipulate in that document that Mr. Chairman has refused to answer any questions. Mr. Chairman has refused to let any board member, answer any questions because according to you, with no supporting evidence, is under litigation.
And investigation.
No. You said, investigations,
I repeated it 10 times.
investigations don't have to be not answered. Litigations, yes, but there is no litigation, Mr.
Our
Chairman.
attorney just advised us since he's not up to speed on the litigation part, he advised us on a
Well, Ms.
hypothetical
Ornette, the
scenario,
only litigation I'm aware of is the pending litigation by Mr. Perez, is that true?
That's
which had to do with the hiring of Mr. Morano.
So,
That's
that being,
Is
that
that
being,
true? I haven't even seen the complaint.
I have it if you want.
Mr. Mateo Perez stated that he was fired for political reasons, and then Mr. Murata was
Right,
hired.
Mr. Morano is mentioned in that, so we're not gonna comment on it.
Okay, Mr. Mateo Perez was terminated in November, and Mr. Murata was hired a few months down because you needed legal counsel according to your statement, Mr. Chairman.
I'm not gonna comment on any matter.
Okay, so let me ask you another question. Is there litigation, to the best of your knowledge, right now with Mr. Murata?
I'm not going to comment on it.
Well, you said on record that there was litigation, so you couldn't comment. So you couldn't comment
Right, so I'm not
because
commenting.
you thought it was on the litigation. You couldn't comment because now you think it's on litigation. So do you really know what goes on this board, Mr.
I'm
Chairman?
not saying I think, I'm saying I'm not commenting on that matter, because it is. Thank you.
Okay, so I just hope you're all prepared to answer to Consumer Affairs,
That's fine.
because I will file a complaint
You don't have
tomorrow.
to threaten the members.
No, it's a promise.
That's
It's
why we
not a
have,
threat.
that's why we have an attorney.
I don't
That's why
threaten.
we have an attorney.
Anyone else on that? That's it. Anyone on the board has anything else?
I have something. What time have we settled on a time for our meetings going forward? I thought we had mentioned 6 o'clock.
So now it's 5 o'clock, whatever you folks decide to do.
I'm fine with the time we have now.
I'm fine with 5 o'clock. Well, you got a problem?
I do. I mean, I work in New York, and it's just,
You have a traffic?
You got, I mean, you got.
I had to leave my office at 3:30 today to be
Wow.
here at 5.
Oh,
I know, but some members serve on other boards, and have a problem
Yeah,
with anything later.
that's a problem.
Oh,
On the
because
same
other
day?
board meetings?
On the
Well,
same-
sometimes
on
it's
the
coming
same
down the
day?
same day, yeah.
Oh, I
All
see,
depends.
right.
Can we move the date around then? Can we, instead of the last Thursday, the third Thursday, or?
It's up to the board, to the members, actually. I don't have a problem with the date. I mean,
The date's on there.
So the third Thursday is,
well,
And
the
that was
only
the
thing
fourth-
is that in terms of the payment of the bills, that's gonna create a problem, not
Yeah,
for us,
that's
but
right.
for the
Yeah,
vendors.
yeah,
Because once it's approved, if a bill comes the following day and we still have like 2 weeks left on the month, then we have to wait like another 4 weeks or 6 weeks. That's the only issue, right, that we have with cutting off at that point in time. And same thing with the Section F for the landlords.
We've had these meetings the same date, time for years. And that would become a
Yeah.
burden of the bills.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why it was done at the last Thursday of a month, to
How about
give
the
enough
last Wednesday?
time.
Last
Would that
Wednesday?
make a big difference on the Wednesday round?
I have a,
Oh, you have meetings now? Oh, Wednesdays, okay.
So I guess the question is a matter of, would it be
The
a
time.
burden to have it at 6?
Or the dates,
Burdensome?
or the date, right, according to you?
No, the date doesn't matter to me, it's just
It's
the
the
time.
time, it's the time.
yeah.
Oh, okay, but I thought you said if we change it to a Wednesday or another day, it would be no problem.
Well, no, because some of them have issues, conflicts of,
Oh, I see, so you want another day and the 6 o'clock time? Oh, okay, now I'm clear.
it could be any
maybe
day.
everybody should go back, check their schedule, and we could come up to.
For the next
Yeah,
meeting,
you will
yeah,
handle
I
that.
understand.
How about a compromise, 5:30, does that help you?
Well, it depends if we have a 5-minute comment portion.
Yeah, but shorter, right? But this guy's sharp today, man. That's true. He took a sharp pill this morning.
Laid off the espresso.
When it's done, you know.
Yeah, I see him more time.
Yes, I have to check my business.
Okay, so then why don't we all just go back and check our calendars and see, maybe
From there we
5:30. 5:30 might
Because we really
work.
don't have time.
It'll give me an extra half hour.
All right.
Well,
Anything else, folks? So go right there,
Have a motion to close the meeting?
Motion.
Pat. The chairman.
Martinetti, on close.
All right.
Then do roll call, Chairperson Martinetti?
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Kara? Mrs. D. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Gutierrez?
Yes,
Mr. Moya?
The resolution.
That they didn't take care of.
Me?
No, this is not adjourned.
No one's-
Fasting for your parade.
What?
And I'm proud of it.
Fasting for your parade.
Yeah.